They say being a parent is the most beautiful experience in life. And maybe it is. But no one talks about what happens when that ideal becomes a prison. When motherhood or fatherhood doesn't feel like the promise of unconditional love, but like pressure, guilt, or loss. Since we're little, we're taught that being a parent is the next natural step, that motherhood means fulfillment, that fatherhood means purpose. We grow up hearing, when you have kids, you'll understand one day. A mother's love conquers everything. But real life is more complicated. Not everyone can. Not everyone wants to. And not everyone feels the same way. The myth of the perfect parent weighs heavy. It weighs on those who can't have children, on those who do, but don't always feel happy, on those who chose not to and are judged for it, on fathers who feel lost or broken inside the role of the strong provider. It weighs on everyone because we've all been told there's only one way to love, one way to be a family, one way to be enough. But life doesn't follow a script. There are mothers born from longing, others from accident, others from grief, fathers who love deeply but feel unprepared, people who wanted to be parents but couldn't, and people who became parents but never chose to. In all these stories, there's one common thread: the burden of what should be. We grieve what never was, the child who never arrived, the version of ourselves we imagined as parents, the relationship that didn't turn out as we hoped, the family that didn't match the picture in our heads. That grief doesn't always look like mourning. Sometimes it's quiet, hidden in comparison, in questions that start with "what if?" And as a society, we struggle to accept that pain because we've been told that parenthood should only bring joy. But gratitude doesn't erase exhaustion. Love doesn't cancel pain. Acknowledging that something hurts doesn't mean you're ungrateful. It means you're human. The perfect parent doesn't exist. There's no manual, no universal truth. Yet we carry impossible expectations. The always patient mother, the always strong father, the forever grateful caregiver. But humans are not absolutes. We are light and shadow, love and frustration, tenderness and fatigue. When we idealize parenthood, we punish those who don't fit the mold. Mothers who ask for help are called weak. Fathers who cry are labeled irresponsible. Those who choose not to have children are called selfish, and those who couldn't, incomplete. But fulfillment isn't measured by the number of children you have. It's measured by inner peace, by your ability to love without losing yourself, to care without disappearing, to live without performing for others. Healing the grief of what wasn't doesn't mean giving up your dreams. It means accepting that your story took another path, and that path can still be beautiful. It means forgiving yourself for the moments you felt angry, at life, at your body, at yourself, for the times you felt like you failed when in truth you were surviving. Maybe real love isn't about perfection. Maybe it's about honesty, about holding space for your flaws, your fears, your limits, and still choosing to love anyway. Because there's a healthier way to be a parent, or simply a human being, one that's born from authenticity. When you finally realize you don't need to be perfect to love well, something inside you releases. When you stop chasing the image of the ideal parent, you discover what real love feels like. Not flawless, but present. Maybe you never had the child you dreamed of, but maybe you're nurturing, guiding, inspiring others in ways you don't even see. Maybe your form of parenthood isn't biological, but emotional, symbolic, spiritual, and that counts too. Breaking the myth of perfect motherhood heals generations. It teaches future men and women not to fear imperfection, to understand that loving also means setting limits, that there is beauty even in the mess. If you ever felt guilty for not being like the others, remind yourself, you don't have to fit a mold to have worth. You don't have to follow a path to be enough. You don't need to be a parent to leave love in the world. You already are, simply by being you. The grief of what wasn't doesn't vanish, but it transforms. It stops hurting like a wound and starts healing like wisdom. And in that peace, the kind that comes from truth, not perfection, you find freedom. Because breaking the myth isn't rebellion, it's love. When you free yourself, you free those who come after you. You teach them that love doesn't demand sacrifice, only presence. Because perfect parenthood doesn't exist, but real, imperfect human love does. And that's where true healing begins.